Okay, so let us now look at a second problem, and this is a slightly longer problem. So you might want to pause at different points just to kind of like take your notes on the question and think about the different aspects of the question that is going on. Okay, so you have got a person, Koel, who is interested in quickly selling an old tractor that she owns. So if she doesn't manage to sell a tractor to a customer today, then she'll have to sell it to a wholesaler, and then she'll get 1 lakh rupees, right? But she's still trying to kind of like use auctions to sell it to a customer today if it's possible. Okay. So Koel knows that there are two types of people who are interested in buying tractors. So you may have either professional tractor operators who actually use the tractor for work, or you may have recreational users who just use the tractors to kind of like entertain themselves by driving them around, right? So this is some hobby that they have picked up. They just want to kind of like, think it's cool to drive around. Okay. Now, professional tractor operators, because they are going to use it for commercial purposes, they are going to be willing to pay more. So they are going to be willing to pay 6 lakh for the tractor, but no more than that. So that's the valuation of these professional tractor operators for the tractor. Whereas recreational tractor users would want to pay amount slightly less. So they are willing to pay 4.5 lakh rupees, but no more than that, right? So this information that Koel already knows from her professional or past experiences. Okay. Now, Koel finds that when she is thinking about which auction to use, she finds that two buyers have shown up potentially, and the buyers don't know each other. And Koel also does not know whether they are actually professional buyers or whether they are actually recreational buyers, right? So Koel has some beliefs about the type of these buyers who have shown up. So Koel believes that the probability that either is a professional tractor operator is independent of the other's type, right? So whether one is a operator or not is independent of the other one. And she believes that each of them has a probability of half of being a professional tractor operator and a probability half of being a recreational user. So for every person, there's a probability half that this person is either a professional tractor user or a recreational tractor user. And these two are basically independent events, right? So that's the setup that we have. Okay. Now, Koel is considering the following three different types of auctions of selling the tractor. Option one, she is going to post a price of 6 lakh rupees. And if nobody takes the tractor at that price, then she's going to sell it to the wholesaler for 1 lakh rupees. Okay. Option two is post a price equal to the recreational tractor buyer's user, which remember is 4.5 lakh, and sell it to anyone who is willing to offer that price, right? So she's just going to set a price of 4.5 lakh. If somebody comes and says, 4.5 lakh or more, then just sell it for 4.5 lakh. Okay. Option three is actually run a sealed bid auction and sell the tractor to the highest bidder at the second highest bid, right? So this is basically the victory auction. And she's going to use the rule that if there is a tie, then choose one of the two high bidders at random and sell the tractor to this bidder at a price bid by both the bidders. Okay. So these are the three options that she's considering. And the question that we need to solve is which of the three options should she choose if she wishes to maximize her expected revenue. So at this point, you might want to just pause the video, go over the question, think about the setup, and consider first what are the three options that Koel is going to choose. Okay, so what we are going to do now is actually we are going to actually break up this problem into small pieces just to show you how to kind of like think about these problems, right? So before we consider these three options, it will be helpful for us to do some preliminary calculations that we are going to be doing over and over again. So we should answer these first three questions, right? So what's the probability that both the potential buyers are professional tractor operators? What's the probability that both the potential buyers are recreational tractor operators? And finally, what's the probability that one of the potential buyers is a professional tractor operator and the other is a recreational tractor operator? Again, I encourage you to pause the video, think about the answers to this question. So here you can use the independence result and the fact that both of them are half and half. So what's the probability that both of them are professional tractor operators? So that's going to be given by half multiplied by half. So the answer is 1/4, right? Similarly, what's the probability that both of them are recreational tractor operators? Again, half multiplied by half, 1/4. And what's the probability that one of them is a professional tractor operator and the other is a recreational tractor operator? So this is 1 minus 1/4 minus 1/4, which is equal to half, right? So these are some preliminary calculations that we'll use over and over again. So that's why we want to do them first at the beginning. Okay. Now let's consider the different options. So option one is post a price of 6 lakh rupees, remember, and if nobody takes the tractor at that price, then sell it to the wholesaler. Okay. Now, if Koel is using option one to sell it, what's the probability that she will be able to sell the tractor to one of the two buyers? That's question one. Question two is, if she sells by option one, what's the probability that she'll have to sell it to the wholesaler? Remember, only if she gets a price of 6 lakh is she going to be able to sell it to somebody. Otherwise, she has to sell it to the wholesaler. And finally, the third part is, what is Koel's expected revenue under this option? Again, pause the video, think about this, and then think about how to kind of do it. So what are the answers going to be? So if you think about it, she's going to be able to sell it to one of the two buyers as long as she gets a buyer who has a willingness of paying of 6 lakh, right? So under what circumstance can that happen? So it is as long as one of the two buyers has actually a willingness to pay of 6 lakh. So this can happen if both of the buyers are actually professional tractors, or at least one of them is, right? So if you now add up the probabilities, so this can happen, the first one can happen basically with probability 3/4, right? So that's the answer to the first case. What about the second one? So this is in the case that, none of the operators are actually professional, or even one of them is not a professional. So both of them are basically recreational operators. In this case, she will not be able to sell it for 6 lakh, right? Because both of them have a maximum willingness to pay of only 4.5 lakhs. So this happens with probability 1/4. Okay. So what is Koel's expected revenue under option one? If you want to calculate this, so with 3/4 probability, she is able to sell it to someone for 6 lakh. With 1/4 probability, she is able to only sell it to a wholesaler for 1 lakh. So if you now do the calculation, so the under method one or option one, the answer is 4.75 lakhs, right? So that's how we can calculate. All right. So let's look at the second option, which is to post a price equal to the recreational tractor user's buyer value and sell it to anyone who offers that price. Now, this means that basically Koel is going to set a price equal to 4.5 lakh. And if anybody is going to come in and offer at least that price, then she's going to sell that price, right? So here, based on the configuration that you have, clearly, in all cases, there's at least going to be someone who is going to be offering 4.5 lakh or more, right? So in that case, if Koel actually sells by option two, then we know for sure that she's going to get exactly 4.5 lakh, right? So that's the answer in this case. Okay. What about option three? So option three was, remember, a sealed bid auction, right? And here, basically, as you remember, what happens is that you are going to sell it to the highest bidder, but at the second highest price, right? So let's again break it down into different parts. So these are the different 4 parts that you can see. Let's go through them one by one. So suppose that if you have got both of the bidders who are recreational, professional tractor operators, then how much are they going to bid? So remember, in a sealed bid second price auction, everybody is going to bid their own valuation for the object. So both of them will bid 6 lakh. So how much will Koel receive? In this case, she will receive 6 lakhs, right? If one is a recreational and the other is a professional tractor, then the recreational person is going to bid 4.5 lakh, whereas the professional tractor operator is going to bid 6 lakhs. So in this case, Koel is going to get 4.5 lakhs. And if both of them are recreational tractor operators, then actually there's going to be, both of them is going to bid 4.5 lakh. And so therefore, Koel will end up also getting 4.5 lakh. So finally, what is the Koel's expected revenue under is option three? So it's basically 6 lakh with probability 1/4, right? 4.5 lakh with probability half, and then again 4.5 lakh with probability 1/4. So if you calculate the expected revenue, you end up with 4.875 lakh. So now we finally have all the information to actually answer which option should Koel go with. So as we calculated, under option one, Koel's expected revenue is 4.75 lakh. Under option two, Koel's expected revenue is 4.5 lakh. And under option three, Koel's expected revenue is 4.875 lakh. So if we compare the three, we can clearly see that in this case, Koel is better off going with option three. So that's how you can do it. So you need to kind of like learn this trick of like breaking down this, a large level question into systematically kind of like breaking it up into smaller parts so that each of them is achievable so that you can finish the problem properly.